Hello everyone, Jock from Dapper Shaves. We're back with a honing video. We've got some razors here, but we're essentially only gonna do two. So we're gonna step through that. I've got a new format for recording stuff. Um, I find it quite useful, interesting. Takes a little bit longer to do the editing, depending on how you set things up. So hopefully it's going to look quite cool. Okay, so you know my kettlebell setup with this bracket on where I essentially put my phone on and then have a top-down view. So that's taken off, phone to the side, we're using this. Okay, I've got two razors here that are NOS and identical. There we go. We are going to refresh the edge on one. I'm not going to do both. So we're going to put this one out the way. And I'm going to take this one out. Just put it down there. Get this out the way. And then we're quickly going to have at the other two razors. These two. So the first one, and that's the razor we're going to spend the most of the time on. This is essentially NOS. However, a beautiful razor. If you look at this closely, right here at the edge, and if you look under the scope, there's a large piece of the edge broken out. So I'm not sure if this was done on a strapping belt or something like that. I don't know, and that got split off, but we need to refresh that. So we're going to spend a lot of time on here. And then we have got a very nice also NOS. We've got a couple Japanese NOS razors. So we'll step through them in separate honing videos. So all of the stuff that can get wet out the way. What we are going to start doing is we are going to use some tape to cover the spine, do the correction work, and continue until we've worn down the insulation tape. We might refresh it during at some point in time, but we'll step through that. Then I've got a mid-range stone we're going to use to undo what we've done here. We've got some Naguras we're going to use, and then we have got also a very nice finishing J-nut, which we are going to talk to. So I'm going to put this out the way. What I am going to do on the side is just keep hydrating the Mikawa Nagura bench stone from time to time, because that needs to soak a bit. So the refresh of this razor, and I've just got some water on here, we'll do last or maybe in the next video. So I'm also just going to move that out the way. Put this cloth away. We're going to use this stone and we need to put tape on the spine. So that's what I'm going to try and do with these surgical gloves, which is not as tight as I would like them. So we'll see how that goes. So I think I got that bit right. And then we just take the kiridashi. And then we carefully ensure these surfaces are nice and flat. And we're going to repeat on the other side. Not as center as I would have liked, but it is in place. all looking nicely. Clean this off. And then we are going to yeah, really ugly stuff. So we are going to use a little soapy water, clean green. This is a coarse DMT, but well worn. It's got a little spot that's developed there over time. But this stone has served me well and has done a huge amount of work. So at this point in time, the spine's not hitting the stone yet. I'm just trying to do some of the profiling, and then I'll start putting contact like I'm doing now. Slightly edge biased, ensuring I'm hitting all the areas evenly, fashionably, and I'm not riding the spine, the shoulder or the stabilizer. And then we're going to continue doing this until that is, to my satisfaction, gone. And then we're going to refine what we've done here on the rest of the stones. So there we go. Otherwise, I have got a shorter haircut, as you would have seen. Donated my hair to a child that needs it for a wig. I initially grew it for my wife. As I've said previously, no longer a requirement. And so I needed to continue that a great idea and follow through with that. So somebody else has definitely found use in that. As usual, as you work, dear Lord, there's a lot to do. This is a very well-worn stone. I want to maybe quickly accelerate this process. So I'm going to move that. Apologies for that. Meet DMT extra course. It's brand new. Toots from old school shaving. It's standing there at the back next to a Shapton. It's a 140. But I want to quickly use this. And you can hear this is quite abrasive. This is going to do a lot of the work very quickly. So in that regard, that biased pressure I had, I'm backed off totally, because with this stone, you will take away so much metal in a hurry, you won't know what hit you. Stone's also brand new. It's actually as a backup reserve stone for in a couple of years' time. I had the finances when I bought this some time ago, so these things keep getting more expensive and I want to just be capable. So already starting to hit the tape here and slightly there. So I think it's about time to have a look what we've done and maybe refresh the tape. A lot better, very deep scratches, very deep scratches. So I need to be mindful of that. And then I'm going to take this tape off. You'll see it actually splits where it's already worn through. We're going to discard that. I'm going to dry the spine and razor as much, and we are going to wash and repeat. So you continue with that until you have set the bevel. I normally stop a little bit before I do that and switch to a milder stone so that I can start managing those deep abrasions in the steel before the bevel's fully set. It just saves time, a lot of steel and material, and it works for me. Once again, being an educational channel, these are just recommendations. You have to find a technique or something that works best for you and your situation. Simple as that. Co-pilot has flown in. Come here, co-pilot. Papa vir jou kussing. Co-pilot is scavenging for food. She's on a diet. And so once she sees she's not going to get a little snack or something, she might come and look for attention. And then we'll pick up co-pilot and put her in a position and seat. Once again, some work, a lot of quick cutting, wavy tracking. You can actually see it looks like little hairs, the steel that's been cut off. Some of this is also fibers, but still more work to do. The other thing I have, what you will pick up is this side is wearing quicker than this side, meaning I've got more pressure or more spine biased pressure that side. It also reflects slightly in how the bevel is set, so I'm just paying very specific attention to that. And I think what I'm going to do is once I've eaten the tape as we're doing now, I am going to retape and then switch to the Mulder stone, the one I was working on, because we're getting close, and that's how we're going to continue. Hello, co-pilot. Sit. Yeah, there's contractors on site next door, so there's a truck that's making a noise, and she, like all Jack Russells, are quite jumpy. So once again, this is the third time I've added tape here, and the whole idea is to try and stick to close as the spine and original bevel angles as possible. So this stone I'm going to park there, and then we are going to come back to more civilized removal and refining those deep scratches. You might even see it on camera. I don't know. Very shiny, very edgy, and so very deep. So with this stone that cuts very slow, or a whole lot slower, I'm starting to apply a little bit more edged biased pressure to clean that up and minimize the wear on the tape. So I don't want to try and use tape again if I can avoid it. And so here you can use whatever strokes you want. Typically my stones right at the toe and heel areas, if I can put it that way, generally got more abrasion. Maybe that's not true, it just feels like it sometimes. And we've done some work. Quite easy again. Stop. Check where you're at. Tape still looking fine. What does that nastiness looks like? Okay, so the nastiness is gone. There's very small little microchips there. So I know we've removed that large breakout of the edge, and so the bevel is nearly set. Then we're gonna jump to this Towa, which I need to keep with. Sorry, Gigi, you feel me. Start saturating that razor of that stone, and then we are going to finish up. Once the bevel set, things should go a lot quicker. Having said that, I first need to get rid of this very coarse scratches. Okay guys, so I think I've made enough progress with that. I'm going to take a quick break because I oversprayed some water on the stone on the razor. I want to dry that up. So we will be back in a moment. Alright, so all back. I'm slowly started hydrating the stone. Still small little chips, but this tape hasn't worn, maybe slightly there at the back. So I'm going to remove this because I am done with tape. From here on, I don't want to change the geometry and so forth. I want to now stick to what we have. Plus, this razor spine has never seen stone. So, we wet this. I'm going to where did I put my, oh here we go. The very fine, well-worn stone, the diamond plate we used. I'm going to use that, and we're going to create ourselves a nice slurry. And keep hydrating that, and then working this razor until I'm satisfied. So what I'm doing is just washing off some of that, adding a bit more hydration, and off to the races. Try not to push all the water and the slurry off the stone as it moves up. Stop. There's a little particle, just get that off. I'm not too worried about pieces of metal that now comes off or anything that jumps on here at present. I first want to establish the bevel, get rid of those scratches, and move from there. Ja, my liefie, sit lekker in die son. Gigi? Guys, I haven't got a lot to say. We still edge biased pressure. I've moved this up now to 200, 300 grams worth of pressure, and just working the entire stone, all of the areas, ensuring I make good bevel contact. And then we've done a little bit of work, so we stop, clean this off, inspect where we're at, and immediately that very pronounced bevel is looking a whole lot thinner and shinier, and that's because a lot of those scratches are out. Still some work at the heel to do. I generally jump slightly earlier to steps because I want to minimize the damage as much as possible. So that's an experience thing. You need to decide when it's good or not. If you and I have, and sometimes still do, end up short in my first attempt, and then you spend a lot of unnecessary time on a progressive step where the work wasn't completed 100% previously. So you can waste your time and so forth. Experience thing, decide how you're gonna get there and what stones works well. A stone that would work incredibly well for this process would be a Belgian cortical. They cut very quick, the particles don't break down that much, and they will cut any steel high speed. Not that this cuts slow, but as I say, you can use I don't know, 2 or 3K synthetic stone equivalent for this type of step, or maybe first do a 1K and then a 3K and a 5K, I don't know. I like natural stones because of the dynamic range they have with regards to what you can achieve with them. So right, much better. I am going to just refresh this, create fresh slurry. So DMT stones have got, because they haven't got grooves or other surfaces or raised areas, when two flat surfaces get close together, they will stick, but you work it off to the edge and then just tilt it because there's no more pressure. Slide the slurry onto the side, wash the rest off, whatever floats your boat. So find something that works for you. I know DMT is coming up with, or has got an updated lapping plate, and that one essentially has got some grooves in there to relieve some of that suction that happens, that vacuum that happens when flat surfaces meet. I'm not sure how long we're into honing. This video records quite long. I might speed up some of this content. I don't know why. Folks, don't watch the videos end to end in any case, or the majority of them. So I think I'll just keep them longer, keep continuing describing the value, and then you guys can decide how much or how quick you want to watch the content. Me as an example, folk generally speak the more slower pace when making videos, and so if you speed up that up, let's say to 1.5 is the one I normally use for most stuff, you can watch a bit more content fully versus some slower bits. So feel free to speed up the stuff and not miss out on the articulation. So give that a try. I can feel there's no more harshness, there's no more hiccups, inconsistent feel across the edge. So I think we are there. I just want to give this a brief one, and then we are going to hit the Naguras. So once again, Jacques, why do you use Naguras? You must get yourself some tomos and other stones and what not. So there's a reason for that. Those stones are graded, they work well once you understand what you've got and how they compare, because as I say, Botan and Tenju can be close to each other, or they can be miles apart depending on what you get. Same with Koma and Mohiro. They can be close to each other or miles apart. Some work quicker, some don't. So I like them. They've given me a framework to work from. I've never had bad results. I spend time looking at each stone and how they behave, and that's it. So that for me also closes up that door about that rabbit hole, especially if you just want to get stones that will work and continue. You can buy them with confidence and you can use them and stick with them, learn your skill and experience, and have great shaves. Anyways, I like what I see, and so in that regard we are going to wash the stone quickly, give it a refresh, and then we're going to hit the Botan. So I'm going to where I normally stand and hone and work, so you can follow me there. There we back. So that's one thing about a 360 camera. So people looking at technology and what the capabilities are. Yes, it's not the best solution for everything, but it's a great solution to set up. Do what you need to do while the record button's on, and then focus on the things that is important without worrying about camera angles and so forth or missing action. You could have things happening somewhere else, and later in the video you just point it there. So how a 360 camera works, it's got two lenses, one on each side. It's like a cell phone, but it's got two fish eyes on the side, and then it stitches those two images together, and so you've got a 360 sphere of an image, and then you take your 16 by 9 or what format you want, and then you just point it to where you want the action to be, up, down, table, here, back, and whatever. And so that is opens up a lot of doors. Does take a fraction bit more time in post, but essentially for this video I know I would play around and show you guys the functionality, but you can essentially focus on the area you want and just leave it there. So creamy, very milky we have got Botan. Yes. No, this is Tenju. Sorry, I had a brain fart with kanjis. So Tenju, what I'm using here. Once again, you cannot compare natural stone coarse gritness to a synthetic, but for a lack of that, to try and put it in perspective, that Tenju, this one I would guess is in the range of 4 to 5K. This base stone with the slurry I had on there is most likely anything between a 800 and a 2K, depending on how much pressure you use, how thick the slurry was, and so forth. So there is a gentleman, I can't get to his name now. He does fantastic education on natural whetstone, specifically Japanese, but I see he's, you know, not just on the J-nuts, but he's expand to a bunch of other stones. So he's got awesome content. I really recommend you go and watch his content. I learn a lot, and it helps me in making the right choices with regards to the stones and the methods I want to use to achieve great shaving results. Once again, here I think I'm done. We might refresh the base. We will step up the progression, and that's it. Right, so we're going to move from Tenju to Mohiro. And you'll see the Mohiro is softer, so immediately that more orangey tint. So I know that the bulk of the particles is coming from the Asano Nagura, and not the bulk of it from the stone. Obviously there is a mix and a ratio and whatever, and what that is, nobody knows. Maybe somebody knows how to figure that out. I'd love to hear. But so it's only trial and error that is going to get you to understand what these stones are capable of and how to use them. And as you can see, Mohiro, this one, the striped one, definitely not a problem with cutting speed. So once again, if you had to be silly and come up with a grit designation for that stone, I would put it 6 to 8K. And if you use it with a thin slurry and you reduce pressure and so forth, you can push that edge to a 12 or 14K using that Nagura on a hard base. At least that's my experience. I've got no data to cite at it. I can just have a look at under the scope what it looks like compared to other synthetic stones, what it feels like, what it shaves like, what it cuts hanging hair tastes like, and that's all I can do, and essentially sharing that here. Yeah, very encouraging feedback. Pressure I've backed off to around about 100, 120 grams. I don't know, it might be more, might be less. Once again, just to try and give you an understanding of what I'm doing and what those pressures are, so you get the full immersed experience and knowledge, or at least the routine and habits I have, if you want to maybe try something different. Dear Lord, I talk a lot. Gesundheit. Once again, don't know how long we're in. I don't care. You might run out. Well, I do care because I want to get it done. So this video should give you a bit more of a realistic view of time and effort required to make little repairs like that, and what you need to consider and how to approach it. A lot of guys will stick with tape for a very long time, or for their for the entire session until finished. Use what makes sense for you. Doesn't matter what anybody else says. My philosophy is I look at everything, try and understand it, and then use the best bits from the pieces that make sense to me and discard the stuff that doesn't make sense to me. Having said that, the stuff that doesn't make sense to me, which I am able to test, I will test, because you never know until you have your own experience. And so we are going to jump to a coma. This nice one with the blue and black speckles, but it's more blue, reminds me a lot of this Nakayama we've got here. And so this stone is hard, so I know that there would be a good balance between coma particles and base stone particles. And when you get there, it's important to dress the entire stone with the appropriate surface prep. Wara wara waffle. Once again, no lacking cutting speed. Will give you a great fine polish, kick-ass shave. No need for pastes, no need for all kinds of gymnastics and stuff like that. Simple, uncomplicated, razor flat on the stone always. You just need to focus on keeping the stones flat, and then you just stick to that method and we'll have awesome shaves. Does that mean the other techniques and methods doesn't work? No, obviously not. Once again, take the good and bad from all the systems and methods and approaches and apply it to what is available to you and within your budget and within your comfort zone, and you do not need to jump into a rabbit hole. Enough said. So, pretty much done with this stone. I'm just going to move it out the way. We're going to rinse that and give this Nakayama a quick refresh. Follow me. Here we're back. I just want to add a lapiki here. The stone has got a low side, and we're going to put that down. I'm going to give this a brief lap. We're going to somehow use some of this slurry. And I'm going to add some coma to this. And then we off to the races. Yeah. Glass. Absolutely as little pressure as you can. And then I am also going to just do this in hand. Silky smooth. This is a great finisher. Use a coma on it. or even a diamond nagura on this, it produces wonderful shaving edges. And so once again, what I'm going to do is, here I want to finish under running water, so you will have to follow me and maybe see a little bit of my back. Apologies for that in advance. Really getting all of that lovely feedback I would expect. So here we're back. I'm going to give this razor a little strap, and then we're going to check a tree topping test, which I'm confident it will pass. If not, back to the stones, we'll sort it out, and hopefully you guys will see a shave video with us. So guys, that's how I fixed damage, significant damage on a razor. Essentially the third back bevel was broken off, chipped out very badly. I'm not sure if that was a stropping mistake by somebody, you know, on a hanging strap, or if it was on a belt driven stropping machine, or I don't know what. I doubt that it was a lack of quality assurance. But in any case, what we're going to do is, and hopefully we can find some hairs to cut here, and you will see them topping nicely. So happy with this. I thank you for joining. I know you guys are gonna freak out. That cloth's dirty. There could be stuff in there. It's going to get refreshed in any case briefly before I send it out back to the customer. So thank you for joining me on the journey. A bit more of an immersed, physically immersed experience. So see you guys in the next one.